Okay, I'm legitimately appreciating player appreciation for the Young Turks. They are really trying to sort of rescue the progressive movement from itself and the left from itself. Now, of course, this is too late. They are far too late. And Cenk, because he is a progressive, a leftist, a liberal, Cenk, inherently can't kind of like accept like that it's his fault. Like the things he did, how things have ended up are like his fault. Like he actually encouraged people to behave and think in ways that have kind of ruined them. And so they were talking about a David Brooks op-ed that David Brooks started talking about how, because he works at the New York Times, and he was talking about how, most of us who work here at the New York Times are people who went to like the best schools in the world. Like the vast majority of the people at the New York Times are like super elite, mega rich motherfuckers who went to the top 20 schools. There's no Studs Terkel. There is no Studs Terkel on the left, the center, the progressives. They don't have a Studs Terkel anymore. They don't have a real writer anymore who understands sometimes you got to buy gristle. Sometimes you want a big fat steak, but sometimes you got to buy those really thin steaks that you use for tortas, because you just don't have the money. And there's not many writers anymore who are like that, and he was saying it. And so Cenk and them were like, are we those people? Is that our side? And it's like, yeah, we've been telling you for years. And worst of all is that these guys were gassing each other up for years. Like gassing each other up over Hillary. Gassing each other up. The worst, honestly, and you all know where I'm about to go, gassing each other up over BLM. And these motherfuckers walked off with all the money. And people like you and me, we were like, these people already stole money last time they did this. How don't you remember? D. Ray McKesson cut the check. But you see, they're supposedly journalists. So they somehow weren't aware that Ferguson was furious with BLM because they got ripped off. And everybody saw it on Twitter. But of course, at the New York Times, a guy like David Brooks wouldn't know about that. So that's, and so in a way, I'm kind of glad that they're now sort of seeing their fellow typists say that now, that we've kind of totally messed this up for ourselves. Is there any way out? And then this article comes out. And this was on Revolver. I got to find it again. The Democratic Party, there's a thing of if this sex or that sex voted this way or that way or didn't vote at all, what would you have? Well, this person broke it down even more and found out, no, that's not accurate. In fact, the Democratic Party, if you didn't have single women vote, there wouldn't be a Democratic Party vote. That's what they found out by the raw numbers, going through it over and over again. They're finding out that men who are single and men who are married, if they alone voted, the Republican Party would rule almost every state in the Union. It's single women who are voting for the Democrats over and over and over and over again. And so now the journalists have a problem because there's fundamental rules to economics. One of them is it is very hard to make it on your own. It helps to have a posse, helps to have a team, helps to have a gang, helps to have a wife and a husband. And so, and so what we're seeing now, in my view, are a bunch of people seeing that wall. just like Hood was joking about Anna Kasparian, she is seeing that wall. That wall is jumping up in front of her like, ha, got you, nigga. Got you, bitch. And over and over and over again. And also the Democrats are seeing, oh shit, all these divorcees who now are Democratic voting, college educated, formerly employed in probably something relatively, could keep them alive, relatively good job, that such people, these old women aren't going to be able to feed themselves. There's just no way. When we look at the numbers now, what would it take for you to actually live without working? Not going to happen. For the vast majority of single women who vote for the Democratic Party, they're not going to be able to retire. They're fucked. And now the Democrats, you see, they're trying to figure out, because this is the way they really are. They're not taking it head on. Like in a revolver goes, is the future of nationalism men like Andrew Tate? Because it doesn't seem like it's any of the other kinds of iconic men of the Republican Party in any way, shape, or form. Which, again, I hate that, shouldn't do, which this also alludes to what David Brooke was kind of saying. No, the Republican Party is not going to be a party dominated by people like George W. Bush, who went to an elite college and made it because he's an elite. His dad bought the party. His dad rented the party for an entire generation. Nope, it's not going to work anymore. And so it is great. This was a fantastic. I'm loving this. I'm loving that the Young Turks are figuring this out, but it's too late. They're way too late. And now they're trying to really get across, they're really seeing what happened. And okay, so then the other is this. Oh yeah. The Justice Democrats have had to fire staff. So Cenk Uygur gets into this whole thing of how, the Justice Democrats have lost their way. Oh, so dishonorable. You have lost your way. This is not the way. And so I'm loving that, because what that really told me is, I was like, oh, so Cenk, his movement they screwed him. They took his posse, they took his crew, they took his corner, they took all his stash spots. Can't stash his dubious ideology any place anymore. Now somebody else owns it. They got the Cenk vials, It's like it's the pink top. It's the little pink top vials. It's like it's the baggies with the little pink kiss marks on it. Now you have to really know some shit about. You got to be into drugs to know about that. I don't even know if they do that anymore. I bet Hood is like, oh God, oh no, brings back memories. All the people who dropped acid are like, wait, I remember something like that. Anyway, so they are looking at it and they're going, oh no, there's nobody into the progressive hose movement because they're hoes. The Tlaib, Ocasio-Cortez, hose. Ilhan Omar, total fucking whore. Total whore. Haram fucking whore who is constantly dressed up in cosplay. Like, what's with the turban? Like, that's a turban, that's a Sikh thing. The way she wears that's a Sikh thing. Sometimes she wears it like a Rasta, sometimes she wears it like a Sikh. And it's just like, what are you doing? Like, what kind of poser are you, Omar? Ilhan, exactly what party are you? What are you dressed up for here? What's going on here? So, I'm thoroughly enjoying seeing how they're trying to figure out a way out from it. But they're true believers, like Eric Hoffer put it. And we were did I read so much of True Believer? A lot of you started looking up quotes and being like, dude, I never heard of this book, never heard of this guy. I looked up some of his quotes. Oh my God, this is absolutely what we're seeing with the fucking left. They've become a mass movement. And Cenk and Anna they cannot admit that Antifa and BLM were the penultimate of their movement because they're full of shit. And they're being protected by the FBI and probably other elements of within the Democratic Party working with literally the deep state to make all that happen. And the fact that, I mean, BLM and Antifa were openly saying that they were going to riot. They were openly saying, openly threatening people on Twitter, and nobody did shit. There's FBI agents working at Twitter at the time. Former second? Was Jim Baker, was he the head of the FBI or one of the? I'd have to look it up again. Was he the head of national intelligence director, something crazy like that? So no. Now we get to laugh at you guys. Now we just get to fucking laugh, because this is really the big comeuppance period. The economy's not gonna get better. You're gonna need your arms. You're gonna need your back. You're gonna need it. It's the time the time of bitter strength is coming. Coolie. And only us coolies are going to make it. Key to long life: strong back.